years ago, I visited the Dangyang, the place of Changban, the place made famous by the Battle of Changban, but also the resting place of Guan Yu, but not all of him. So when the officers of Xuchang, namely Luoyang, Panzhang and others, Zhuran as well, so when they caught Guan Yu, they killed him and they beheaded him and sent the head to Cao Cao, so that some of the blame for Guan Yu's death would be put on Cao Cao and not exclusively on Sun Quan. The body was buried pretty much where he died, so near modern-day Dangyang. You have a really beautiful temple there. But the head was sent to Cao Cao, and Cao Cao honored Guan Yu by burying him, or burying his head attached to a statue made of wood. And he buried him in Luoyang, just south of the city. So the temple has been existing since then. It has been reconstructed, made bigger during the Ming Dynasty and then the Qing Dynasty, as Guan Yu's fame grew and as he became something of a deity. But yeah, I'm about to visit Guanlin's temple, where Guan Yu's head has been buried for 1,800 years. So as mentioned earlier, Guan Yu is now a recognized deity in the Chinese pantheon, and he's recognized as such across like Chinese folklore, Buddhism, Taoism. Sometimes he's considered a god of war, but also of wealth and trade. He was recognized as having invented many devices for counting, so mostly for trade. You have statues of Guan Yu all over the world. He's also a deity sometimes of law, of safety and security. And you will often see him in altars, in shops and restaurants, in apparently in police stations as well. He'll have his halberd on the right hand, but he's also a patron of the triad, and in which case he will be carrying his halberd in the other hand. So by far, Guan Yu is the most enduring figure of the three kingdoms. You have temples dedicated to him all over China, and you even have some in other countries, such as Vietnam. I'm sure they have some in Korea. I believe there is a couple in Japan as well. But yeah, as far as mausoleums are concerned, burial place, there are three in China. The first one in Dangyang, in the Hubei province, where his body was buried, here in Luoyang for his head, and then his spirit has been enshrined in his hometown, I believe in the Shanxi province. Now compared to Dangyang, where I went 2 years ago, almost to the day, this one is very, very active. Dangyang's Guanlin temple was quiet. I was the only person there, the only visitor for nearly an hour. Here is very active, very dynamic, even though it's really the south limit of Luoyang. And here, of course, a hall dedicated to the 5 tiger generals, which Guan Yu led. Now a certain tradition came about, or at least was quite popular in this time of the Three Kingdoms and late Han Dynasty, because Remember, Guan Yu technically did not experience the three kingdoms. He died in the last year of the Han Dynasty. But this tendency, this trend was for powerful men to have really simple burials with no mounds, no trees to cover their body. Basically, they should remain unmarked. That was a way to avoid grave robbers, obviously, but also as a sign of humility. So when you see the size of that mound that dates back to the early 3rd century, you realize how much Guan Yu mattered to Cao Cao and to people back then, maybe already. Now maybe the mound itself was increased, the walls were around it, and the temple were built or rebuilt in the Ming Dynasty, then later on in the Qing Dynasty. But look at the size of that thing. I'm pretty sure it's actually bigger than Liu Bei's mound in Chengdu. Again, Liu Bei has several burial places, and so maybe the others are bigger, but the one in Chengdu, the most famous one, I believe is slightly smaller. Now, Guan Yu's death marks the end of an era. He was among all the big figures of the late Han Dynasty, all those people that would shape up what would become the three kingdoms, began dying from his death. So he was the first, but just a few months after he passed away, Cao Cao also passed away. Then after Cao Cao, a lot of his advisors and generals such as Xiahou Dun passed away. Obviously, quite famously, Lu Meng, who was responsible for Guan Yu's death, died right after Guan Yu, which created a lot of stories around Guan Yu's vengeful spirit. It helped with his deification, with his image of being almost godlike. Zhang Fei died about a year something after that, a year and a half maybe after Guan Yu, which led later on Liu Bei to attack Sun Quan in a failed campaign that ended terribly at Xiaoting. And this campaign itself was responsible for many deaths among the most famous historical figures of Shu Han, including very soon after this defeat, Liu Bei himself. So now you have some characters who passed away before that, obviously, but really this domino effect of one man dying after another started from Guan Yu's fall. So in many ways, Guan Yu dying, and then even more importantly, maybe Cao Cao dying right after, triggered the end of the Han Dynasty and the beginning of the three kingdoms. When Guan Yu was buried here in Luoyang was not the capital and wouldn't be for another year or so, but this is where Cao Cao was residing at the time. I'm not entirely certain why. It might be because he just came back from campaigning in the northwest of China, and he was still trying to keep a tight grasp over his north and western borders, and Luoyang was as such a proper base for him to either head to Jing Province, where his army had just fought Guan Yu, or to the northwest, that was still probably fairly troublesome after the uprising of Machao, also guarding Hanzhong against the army of Liu Bei. So he was probably strategically at Luoyang just when the head of Guan Yu reached him, and decided to honor him with this burial ground. But then he passed away very soon after, and what happened is that his son Cao Pi forced the emperor to abdicate, and then Cao Pi declared Luoyang his capital. So Luoyang would become a capital again a few months after Guan Yu was buried in Luoyang, which makes for a very interesting story.